Hi, this is Richard Fields with this week's Report from the Fields. We've had a few off-year elections recently, one in Argentina and one in the United States. In Argentina, the party of President Javier Milei, an unapologetic libertarian, won a landslide victory for his party and a veto-proof plurality in the nation's legislature. In the United States, the party of President Donald J. Trump suffered a humiliating loss, with candidates of the Democratic Party winning across the board. In New York City, the avowed Democratic Socialist Zoran Mamdani, who ran on both the Working Families Party line and the Democratic Party line, won an outright majority, defeating former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo running as an independent and Republican Curtis Sliwa. In California, Governor Gavin Newsom's Prop 50, a blatant proposal to gerrymander the state's congressional districts to elect 5 more Democrats next year, won. In New Jersey, Democratic Mickey Sherrill beat Republican Jack Ciattarelli. In Virginia, Democrat Jay Jones beat Republican incumbent Jason Miyares, despite leaked emails in which Jones fantasized about killing a Republican lawmaker and his family. Also in Virginia, Democrat Abigail Spanberger of the CIA, or formerly of the CIA, defeated Winsome Earl Sears for governor. It was pretty much a clean sweep for Democrats and a repudiation of the Trump brand of Republicans. For the last 2 years, the media, either clueless or diabolical or both, has attempted to paint images of Trump and Milei as being from the same political tribe. Both Trump and Milei have brash personas, but that's where the similarities begin and end. Milei supports free trade and is taking his chainsaw to Argentina's protectionist trade policies. Trump is a protectionist who has been dictating tariffs based mostly on his whims, unconstitutionally, as the Supreme Court will hopefully soon rule. Trump is rapidly anti-immigration. The only restrictions on immigration that Milei advocates are preventing the immigration of criminals and restrictions on immigrants using government-provided social services. Trump is enacting piecemeal socialist policies, like acquiring ownership interests in private companies. Milei is adamantly anti-socialist and anti-communist. He is privatizing government-owned businesses in Argentina. Trump is actively restricting Second Amendment rights. Milei fully supports the rights of the people to be armed. Trump advocates reduced or increased government spending and larger deficits. Milei has cut spending dramatically in his 2 years in office. Trump supports low-interest Federal Reserve monetary policy. Milei wants to disband Argentina's central bank. Milei supports legalization of drugs. Trump is actually murdering people in boats off the coast of Venezuela by claiming, without evidence, not to mention due process, that they are drug couriers. And I could go on. The takeaway is that the voters in the United States have rejected President Trump's sinister mix of fascist and socialist policies. Meanwhile, voters in Argentina have given a thumbs up to Milei's free market and small government reforms. Unfortunately, the only viable choices in the election cycle for those opposed to Trump have decidedly not been libertarian in any way, shape, or form. Democrat Socialist Mamdani's promises of rent freezes, free bus rides, free babysitting, and city-owned grocery stores will not be possible without the kind of tax increases that will create a mass exodus of the middle and upper classes that will have to pay for them. Perhaps that's the one ray of hope. Mamdani doesn't have a Federal Reserve to print up money to pay for all his promises. He'll be getting precious little help from the Trump administration. We may be about to witness a real-life experiment to see whether real socialism works. It won't. And Trump's tariffs and deportations won't work either. Maybe we'll see a Thomas Massey or a Rand Paul or a Justin Amash emulate in America what Javier Milei was able to accomplish in Argentina in just 2 short years. We can hope. That's this week's Report from the Fields. I'm Richard Fields. See you again next week.